Welcome to the place where you, the atheist, can search atheist into YouTube, the #2 search engine in the world. Get me. I'm not an atheist. I'm very open about that. And I'm very open about the fact that I do not care about debating. I have no desire to debate. I only want to focus on what we can agree on. Understand each other better in some way. So the people that I respect the most on my who view my channels are the ones who can agree on simple concepts like, hey, it's a poor human choice to look down on any person for any reason, especially because you fundamentally disagree with them. That's a poor choice. It's a poor choice to focus on what you disagree with and to talk and think about, oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. That's not a good human experience. Good human experience is focusing on what you can agree on and not looking down on people and not judging people, because we all have different views. And that's, what kind of world is that if we are constantly judging other people because they don't agree with it, and then ultimately we try to debate them into converting to thinking like we do, so that suddenly we now can respect them? What about this? What about I respect atheists? What about I respect Muslims? I respect Jewish people. I respect Christians. I respect people who haven't got it figured out yet. I respect people. I don't have a problem with you have to agree with me. Like, I morally disagree with a lot of things people do, but I definitely wouldn't say, but except for that group, no, they're bad, and this group, they're bad because they're doing this one sin that's not a sin that I do. But no, as a Christian, for me, that's wrong to pass judgment on a group of people or anyone else, to look down on anyone for any reason. Here's what I want to really address in this video, though. So, people who can agree that this whole channel is about focusing on what we can agree on. Ultimately, this is about emotional intelligence more than it is even atheism and Christianity, I would say. That's really the main fundamental shtick about all of this. It's about emotional intelligence. But I will find, and this is the internet, so naturally you're gonna have that 5% who are intelligent and agree with me, then the rest are just wanting to argue and debate because they're insecure, and I get that. But what's funny is, I have seen this from many atheists. So for those of you at the top 5% who are emotionally intelligent and agree, it's a bad idea to look down on people because they disagree with you. I mean, that's human, that's common sense, that's like humanity 101, I would say. But for those of you in the top 5 who are emotionally intelligent, however many of you are that watch my videos and comment regularly, so I'm talking to you guys specifically, a reoccurring comment that I've had since I've been making these videos is those people who just want to fight and try to prove people wrong. Well, something they'll say is, they'll ask some kind of like leading question that's ultimately a trap to try to get me to debate, even though I say I won't debate. They ask some kind of question, I answer it at what I perceive as face value, but then they'll have a follow-up question, which is just clearly they're just wanting to try to debate and draw me in. And then I'll say, you know what, I'm out. I was very clear up front. I don't debate with atheists. I really don't debate with anyone. So this is where I end the conversation. That's something I will say to people in the comments. It's a regular thing I do when that happens. And this is a reoccurring response I get from people. They'll say, well, that's because you're a liar, you're dishonest, you're not being truthful. That's what they'll say. So by me refusing to debate, they perceive me as being dishonest. And I think that's an interesting thing, because for me that's non sequitur. Do you know what that phrase means, non sequitur? Google it. But it's basically responding to one thing in a way that doesn't relate. Like, for example, man, I think it might snow today, actually. I better wear a yellow shirt. What? See, for me, yeah, that's non sequitur. But for me, that's what I hear. It's me saying, hey, you know what you're asking me, it sounds like a debate. I'm not interested. I'm gonna go ahead and end the conversation here. Oh yeah, well, you're not being honest. You're a liar. You're what? How is that related? How is refusing to debate being dishonest? I mean, I get the idea of you can withhold truth from somebody, like, hey, I know who broke that window. I didn't do it, but I know who did it, but I'm not going to tell anybody. Okay, that's a form of dishonesty in a way. But I think that's quite a stretch for a person to say, hey, I care more about focusing on what we agree on, not what we disagree on. So therefore, I'm ending this conversation because I can tell you're wanting to go one way. I'm just not interested in doing that whole thing. I'll talk to you, but I won't debate with you. And then they say, you're dishonest, you're lying. So I can't count how many times I've had that response over the year or so I've been making these videos. So I'm making this video to ask those of you at the top 5 who are emotionally intelligent and agree that it's not a good thing to look down on people for any reason, no matter how you disagree with them, and that it's also a waste of time to focus on what you disagree. For those of you in the top 5 emotional, intelligent, help me understand those people on the other end, on the far end, low emotional intelligence spectrum, those people. I just want to understand how they think, but I don't want to ask them because they're going to want to debate. I want to ask you who don't want to debate, who agree that we can focus on what we do agree on. I want to ask you, why is it that those people who are also atheists but think a lot differently than you, why is it that they perceive a guy who refuses to debate but only wants to collaborate and focus on what we can agree? Why do they perceive me as a liar and dishonest just because I refuse to debate? They say I'm a liar. Help me understand that, because to me that's non sequitur. Okay? So this video is only intended for the people in the 5% who refuse to debate and totally get my agenda. I just want to find out what we can agree on. And you're that 5% who will never leave a comment implying that I'm wrong, immoral, or ignorant, because that doesn't matter. That's those 5%. I'm looking for the top 5 emotional intelligent people, that top 5%, to answer the question, why do these people at the low end of the spectrum, oh, well, you're looking down on those people. No, I'm not. I get it. They don't have the same amount of emotional intelligence. That's not to say that they're worse human beings. They've just got certain limitations in life. It's the same thing as saying this. You can not be an atheist. You can be whatever. But still, in this world, there are people who are more emotionally intelligent than others, by example. And it's not necessarily because of your age. And I love to give this example. You're on the interstate. A person thinks that you cut them off as you're trying to merge. What do? They look at you, they honk the horn, and they flip you off. If you're emotionally intelligent, how will you respond? You'll just keep driving. You won't respond to them because it doesn't matter what they just did. They perceived you to cut them off. Maybe you kind of did, maybe you didn't at all. George Carlin had a joke about everybody that drives faster than you is an idiot and everyone that drives slower than you is a moron, something like that. It's the whole concept. To somebody, you are a perceived enemy. Just let them think that you're wrong. Let them think that you're ignorant. Let them think that you're immoral. Let them think that. It's okay. See, that's emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is knowing that not everybody is good at reacting to things. And you're okay when they have a toxic reaction, that you just don't react. Again, this is coming from a guy who refuses to debate. And so we're focusing on what we can't agree on. So emotional intelligence, that's what I'm talking about, that top 5%. There are people on the interstate who are going to, if that happened to them, then, oh, what? And then they flip the person off, they start banging the horn, then they follow them, and that's not emotionally intelligent. To just let it go and to not be offended, to not be disrespected, to not go on Twitter and Facebook and talk about it. So am I better than people that do that? No, because I have had a journey in life. I have become more emotionally intelligent as time has passed. So who am I to look down on those people? I'm not. I'm just at a different place in life. I see the world differently than I did when I was younger, when I was 20, when I was 30, when I was 15, when I was 10. So what I'm saying is I'm acknowledging this. Out of the people who watch my videos, between 1 to 200 atheists per video, there's by default, just like a bell curve, by default, there's a top 5% of you that understand what I'm doing here. There's a bottom 5% who just keeps trying to make it a debate. And then there's the middle who probably I don't really hear from much. You can respect what I'm saying, but even though you fundamentally agree with a lot of us, you agree with a lot of it, but it's just not worth telling me. And that's cool. You're here. I'm glad. Thank you for being a passive viewer. I appreciate you being here. Glad you're here. But I just want to make sure that I can differentiate. And see, this is going back to what I said at the beginning of the video. It is totally possible to disagree with someone, even recognize, hey, they're in a different genre, subculture of society than I am. They're at a different place in life. Yet still, I don't look down on them. Now, granted, if we were looking at this on a gradient, in any group of people, there's going to be certain ones that are more emotionally intelligent than others. In the same way, there's going to be a group that has a higher IQ. See, I don't have a high IQ, I have a high EQ, understanding how emotions work and how people get offended and all this stuff, and refusing to, you can still live with emotions without getting offended. Like, that's high EQ. I have that. I'm not claiming I have a high IQ. Probably not that high. I'm horrible at math, science, engineering, etc. So what's funny is, if put me in the spectrum, if we were doing the thing on IQ, I would probably be like in the bottom 20% at least, if not lower. That's honestly how I feel about myself. Does that mean I'm inferior to those of you who are smarter than me by the IQ? Nope. It's just a different way of measuring how we are all different, and understanding and accepting that we can be different in certain ways. We can be better and worse in certain ways, but it's still not a matter of looking down on other people. So I felt I had to say all that, because otherwise people, I think, would say, well, look at you, you're looking down on people for having lower emotional intelligence. No, I acknowledge it. It's one thing to acknowledge something exists. It's another to say I'm better than them. And even though I did the top, but I clearly explained, certain people are just going to look for a debate no matter what. So there we go. I want to know what you have to say, especially those top 5 of you with the highest emotional intelligence. Help me understand why the bottom 5 thinks that I'm a liar and I'm being dishonest simply because I refuse to debate. I need to know this. I don't know the answer. Your comment is everything right here.